Bonjour. Question in French, c'est possible? Bonjour, c'est Annie Dalma pour l'équipe. Justement, vous avez évoqué ce penalty. Est-ce que
You spoke about the penalty.
In English, if you want.
Yeah,
It's
it's
good?
working now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alors, vous avez évoqué le penalty. Est-ce que vous le
You were
trouvez
speaking about the
sévère?
penalty there. Do you think it's harsh? Do you think the award was harsh?
Oh, ik ben helemaal niet bezig met die penalty nu. We hebben een penalty tegengekregen. En dat doet er
not
niet toe
focusing on
of
the
ik hem
penalty.
terecht vind of niet. Ik heb nog geen enkel
It's
beeld
not about
teruggekeken.
if I
Dus,
do
en ook
agree
al
with
zou
the
ik het
penalty
beoordelen als
or
geen
not.
penalty, dat is niet aan mij, dat is aan de
And if I don't
scheidsrechter.
agree with the penalty, it's
Dus
not
dat
up
is
to me
gebeurd
to take
en
the
die hebben zij
decision.
gescoord. En
The
stonden
referee
dus
takes the
meteen nog voor.
decision, and the USA scored a goal, and then they lead it by 1 goal.
Next question, the gentleman with glasses. Yes, raise your hand, please. Yes.
Kieran Pender from The Guardian, question in English. Congratulations, coach, on taking the team to the final. What does this performance, this achievement of getting to the final mean for Dutch football?
Well, I think with winning the European Championship, we made a big step and we got visible in the Netherlands, and women's football became very, very more popular than it already was. And I think this tournament even improved or even influenced that even more. And I hope that this shows everyone in the Netherlands which potential women's football has. And that we can improve our competition. Our competition that started in 2007 has improved very much, but we need extra impulse. And hopefully this achievement helps in developing the competition. And also the youth development for younger girls. Like we have, now we have situations and better facilities for girls, but it's still not the same as boys. Many people are working on that, many people with a lot of passion. But I think that now we have to build on a structure that we will never, ever quit women's football and youth football for girls.
Next question. Yes, lady in third row, please. Yes. Ah, yes. You.
Okay. C'est bon. Une question en français, s'il vous plaît. J'aurais 2 questions d'ailleurs.
I've got 2 questions, in fact.
Est-ce que l'entrée de Shanice van der Sanden a été
Did
peut-être trop
Shanice
tardive,
van der
et est-ce que ce
Sanden's
serait un rêve pour
introduction
vous,
come a little bit
d'entraîner
too
l'équipe des
late?
États-Unis?
And would it be a dream come true for you to coach the US women's national team?
Ja, u vindt dat Shanice te laat werd opgesteld?
So,
In van niet. Wij hebben die keuze gemaakt.
Shanice van der Sanden came
We wilden
in,
uiteindelijk wat
but
forceren.
it was
We hebben
on time. It was
gekozen
not
of
too
we
late. We
snelheid
wanted
kiezen
to
of,
force
een
situation.
speler met,
We had to make a
die
choice.
wat meer
What
in de
do
bal
we
en
want to
positiespel
have? A
speelt.
person
Ja,
with
dat
more
pakt
ball
soms goed uit en
position
pakt soms
or a
niet goed
fast player? And sometimes things
Of ik droom
go
om het
successfully.
vrouwenteam van Amerika
And
te
if
coachen.
I
Nou, ik
dream
ben
to
nu
become
coach
the
van het
head coach
Nederlands
of the
team. Ik ben
USA,
zelf
now I'm
Nederlands.
currently the head coach
Ik vind het
of the
geweldig
Netherlands.
en ik voel me
I'm a
bevoorrecht
Dutch
dat ik
woman.
met het team waar ik nu
It's
mee werk mag
great.
werken.
It's a
En we
privilege
hebben
to me to be
enorme
able to
mooie
be
dingen al
with my
bereikt met
team.
elkaar.
We
Ook mijn
performed a
voorgangers hebben dat al
sensational
bereikt. Die hebben
outcome.
grote stappen
By the
gezet
way,
met heel
my
veel van deze spelers
predecessors
en met het
also
nationale team.
made great strides
daar
with
kon ik
the
mee doorgaan.
organization
En
and
dat heeft
national
geleid
team.
tot een
I was
EK-finale en
able to carry on
EK-winst
with
en
their
een
performance.
WK-finale.
And that's led to
Dat ik
the
met ambitieuze vrouwen
success at the Euro
voetbalsters mag
2017
werken, dat wil ik
and
heel lang
to
graag
become the
blijven doen. En dat is nu voor
runner-up
Nederland. En
in
wat de
this World
toekomst brengt, daar ben
Championship.
ik eigenlijk op dit
And I
moment mee
want
bezig.
to be the head coach as well in the future, but not focusing on what I will do afterwards.
Okay, next question. Yes, the gentleman in the middle.
Bonjour, question en français. Sur le début de match, on a vu vos joueuses très agressives sur
At
les
the
Américaines.
start of the match,
beaucoup de fautes,
your
souvent
players
elles
were
sont
very
en retard.
aggressive, making a lot of fouls on the Americans. You were arriving a little bit late. What was your tactical approach that you decided to implement tonight for the final?
Nou, we hebben inderdaad een iets andere tactiek gebruikt.
Yes, of course, our tactics
We
were
hebben,
different at the
Amerika
beginning
is
of the
hartstikke
game.
sterk. We hebben
So
gekeken wat
USA
de
is
kracht van
very
Amerika
strong.
was. Nou, allereerst hebben ze heel
So
veel.
we
hebben
focused
ze een goede,
on their
goede aanval.
strengths. Now, of course,
Ook
they have
diepgaande
very
middenvelders.
good strikers.
En we vonden dat
They
we
have
daar wat power
also
tegenover moesten zetten. En we wisten ook dat op het
midfield
moment dat
players
we veel
who
iets
are
meer
able
ruimte
to
weggeven, dat ze
play
daar doorheen
as
kunnen
an attacking
voetballen. En dat wilden
player.
we voorkomen.
And we wanted
Daarnaast
to avoid
weten we ook dat ze de eerste kwartier,
their
20 minuten gaan
attacking ball
stormen.
possession.
En dus hebben
And
we
we
zeg maar, een
know
lijn van
that they
4 en
want
een lijn van
to
4 daarvoor
become a
gezet.
storm.
En die
Therefore,
snelle
we had a
spits.
line of 4 and 4.
Omdat ze op hun flank, met
And
name aan hun
they
linkerkant,
have
een hele
also a
snelle
fast
back hebben.
striker.
Wat,
And on the
wat
wings
onze
they
snelheid
have
daartoe
very
niet zou
fast
doen.
back
Dus daar
players.
komt het in kort op neer.
But we wanted to defend against these positions of them. So that's what we did.
Hi, in English, Odin goes from Aftenposten in Norway. Many talk about this tournament as the final breakthrough for women's football. I mean, do you feel it that way yourself, or do you see that there is still a lot more work to be done?
There's always a lot of work to be done. I think we have. You're talking only about the Dutch or worldwide? Well, of course, a lot of things need to be done. I think the women's game has improved very much, and we see that in this tournament also. Again, they're real top athletes, and I think now we're improving the game by having a quicker game, more power, but also more abilities on the ball. And I think the possession game can still improve and improve, and I think it will, as long as the facilities will become better and better, not even for the senior women, but also for the youth. And that's especially for the Netherlands, I think.
Next question, gentleman, gracias.
Hi, Coach.
Was je weer te laat?
Yeah.
Did you arrive too late?
Okay.
Hi, Coach. Question in English from Xinhua News Agency. Reaching the final World Cup in your second appearance in the tournament is an amazing achievement. So, are you satisfied with your team's performance? And are you confident for the future? Have you dreamed of becoming the world champion one day in the future? Thank you.
Well, of course, I think from January 2017 till now, I think we've done a good job. Of course, we would have loved to win this final, but we didn't. Our opponent was better today. So we're second of the world, and I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of the team, and I'm very proud of the staff. And I think we can still improve. And for the first time in history, we also go to the Olympics. And hopefully we can perform well again in the Olympics. We're going to do everything to do well. And there's a high potential in our team. We still have an average age under 26. So a lot of players will still continue developing. So the nearest future looks very good. And the further future, we have to also work on facilities for youth development.
Serena, gefeliciteerd ook met deze mooie prestatie. Maar het spel in de omschakeling aanvallend was wel onder de maat.
Ja.
Balbezit, veel van balverlies.
You lost the ball. Ball position was not very good.
Ja, dat was
also,
jammer, want dat hadden we
some
ook
players who are
gehoopt. Dus we
able
wilden
to have a good ball position were able to do it today. So the backline was the goal. We displayed attacking
dat wat we wilden
position.
doen, dat lukte.
We were very fast,
Alleen,
but
als
we
we dan
were
de bal veroverden
able
en we wilden naar voren, dan waren we hem heel snel weer kwijt. En dan was de
but when we
aansluiting
wanted
ook
to
niet goed
attack,
genoeg.
we lost the
En daar hadden we
ball,
ontzettend
and
veel
that we did
moeite
not
mee.
play very well.
En,
It was very difficult
we
for
kozen
us
natuurlijk ook
to
wat vaker
strike.
voor om
And
Sarri
of
de lange bal te
course,
laten spelen.
we wanted
Maar
also
daar wonnen we niet
to
het duel.
allow
En
to
ook de tweede
Sarri
bal waren we daar
Vendal
te laat op. En,
to give a long pass, but we were not able
daar
to
hadden we- daar-
strike,
goed.
to have scoring opportunities.
kunnen halen.
Now,
Dat was
maybe
wel
we
de
could
insteek.
have
Dat wilden we wel
play
graag, maar dat lukte
better.
niet goed. En
That was our
ja, we
aim.
hebben in de
However,
eerste helft
not
zijn we 2
able
keer
to
eruit geweest met Linet,
use
waar
that
die vrije
tactics.
trap uitkwam. Toen hebben we ook
Now
volgens mij 2
we
corners gehad.
had
In de tweede
two
helft hebben we
possibilities with
een
Linet.
paar keer
There was
gevaarlijk
also a
geweest,
couple
maar
of
echt grote
corners.
kansen hebben we niet
We
kunnen
have been
creëren.
threatening twice, but we have not been able to have serious scoring
Could you raise
opportunities.
a hand? Yes.
Yes. Hoi.
Hi.
Er is wel één prijs uitgedeeld binnen het team. Die is naar Sarah van Veenendaal gegaan. De beste keeper van het toernooi.
Given to Sarah van Veenendaal. She is the best goalkeeper of the tournament. Could you explain what she did? She played sensationally. She showed her qualities mainly in the most recent matches. She is very good. She had many saves. She plays very well with her head. She's also focusing to improve all the capacities. And compared to the past, she is performing better.
Maar als je dan ziet wat ze neerzet en hoe ze ons bepaalde wedstrijden gewoon cruciale reddingen heeft gedaan.
In some matches she was decisive. She saved us. Therefore, I'm very proud of her performance as well. And it's great that she has been awarded this prize.
Here in English. Netta from Haaretz. This match, this final was coached by two female coaches. Do you think it has any meaning, and are we going to see more of them? And is there any way that we can encourage more women to take this managing position?
Yeah, I do think that that we can encourage women. I think that what I always do, I say I have to perform well, and if I perform well, then I can be the coach of the national team. I also think that in earlier times, women were not accepted in football, and now they're more accepted. But actually, women are a little behind. So if you would play a game, it's 1-0 or 2-1, and we need to. When you're behind, you need to work harder to get it equal. And that's the way I think about women in football and coaches in football. We have to work harder and encourage them more to get more women involved in football.
Next question. Raise a hand, please. Yes.
Sarina, gefeliciteerd. Ontzettend knap, tweede plaats.
Congratulations. We've become the runner-up. What's about the penalty? It was a decisive moment. How do you consider it?
Dat doet er niet toe. Die penalty is gegeven, die penalty is gemaakt en dat is het.
To judge the situation.
Dat is aan de scheidsrechter om
the penalty has been awarded, the referee takes the decision, and the USA scored a goal. I've not reviewed this part of the match. By the way, I will review the entire match. But if I do not agree with the penalty, that's not important. And of course, it was a turning point in the match because we were able to carry on in the match. It was an intensive match, but we were not able to be attack. Therefore, it was a setback to all of us that there was this penalty. It was disappointing to us.
We take last question. No? Okay, thank you very much. Now we would like to close the post-match press conference for Team Netherlands. Thank you, coach. Congratulations for all the best for the next. Thank you.
Dank u wel allemaal.
Thank you to everybody.
So good evening and welcome to the post-match press conference of Team USA. Welcome, Jill Ellis, and congratulations for winning the FIFA Women's World Cup.
Thank you.
Again.
Thank you.
I want to apologize to Megan Rapinoe, the player of the match and also the winner of the Golden Ball and Golden Boot. She was selected for the doping control and can't not attend this press conference. So now we want to start with the first question to Jill.
Jill, congratulations again.
second straight one, but a lot of the women in the mixed zone were talking about how difficult this one was, incomparable to the other ones. You feel the same way too?
Yeah, I mean, I think the level overall around the world has I mean, it's growing exponentially every year. So I think 4 years on, yeah, this was incredibly difficult because the opponent is better. And, you know, I think the teams that we had to come through were, you know, some of the best teams in the world. So I think in terms of the path and the level, yeah, this was pretty challenging.
Next one.
Jill, you've had your share of critics, especially after the 2016 Olympics. Now you're a two-time World Cup champion. How vindicating is this, and how does it feel now?
I can truly say this. I don't care and I've never really read what people thought. So I knew that after 2016, we had to kind of, you know, deconstruct this and reconstruct it. That was the plan. That was, you know, what I shared with my bosses, and they bought into it. So I think, you know, in terms of, you know, I just knew we had to continue to evolve and be able to do more things in terms of how we play, because the game was growing so fast. So I think, you know, going through the process of, you know, strengthening our squad, deeper player selection, giving people opportunities, vetting people, that was hard, you know, but I think that was ultimately the right decision. But to get to this point and, you know, see the validation in that and the, you know, the trust you have with the players that kind of came through that, I think it's, you know, it speaks for itself. I don't need to talk about critics. I don't really care. So I kind of do my thing. And what I always say is people out there know 1/10 of what we do. So, you know, for me, it's just incredibly proud of these players. You know, I'd like to take a moment and congratulate the Netherlands on a fantastic tournament. They were, you know, that's a world-class team. They're European champions. They've got so much depth. They gave us a heck of a game tonight. And, you know, I just think for our players and for the staff, I just want to sincerely thank everybody for what they've done to get us to this point.
The woman with the white shirt in the classes? No, the other row? The row before, in front? Yeah, thank you.
Bonjour, question in French.
Okay. Je parle français. Not as good as you, I bet.
Siani Dalma pour l'équipe. Je voulais savoir si vous considérez que le penalty constitue le tournant du match aujourd'hui.
What you thought about the penalty? Was it the turning point in the game?
I hadn't seen you know, I always have to rely, because obviously I don't have the benefit of having a television screen. So I always have to rely on my coaches that are upstairs and see the replays. They were pretty convinced it was a penalty kick. You know, I thought overall, I think we had the better of the game. You know, Netherlands made it incredibly hard for us. You know, they got numbers behind the ball, looked to transition, incredibly disciplined, strong team, you know, good at defending the box. So that, you know, they presented a lot of challenges. So I think, you know, I said to the players at halftime, I think at some point, you know, it's going to break, and it's going to break our way. And whether that's through a penalty kick or whether that's a set piece or whether that's open play transition, you know, I just felt that we would have our opportunity. You know, I think, again, I credit Netherlands for making it hard, but you know, still haven't seen the penalty kick call, so I'm assuming it was valid. Oh my goodness, is that you? Oh, I think that's me. It's probably my mother FaceTiming me, so excuse me 1 second. It is, Mom. Sorry, can't talk right now. All right, sorry about that. She's probably pissed. She's Scottish. All right.
Hi, Coach. Hi, Coach. I'm from China, Xinhua News Agency. Congratulations. And we have to say it's a success of United States football. But the men's side have not made into the World Cup last year. So why we have these different situations, and do you have any suggestions for them to improve? Thank you.
You know, listen, I think, you know, from early on, we in terms of the women's program, you know, we got on board very quickly. I think the men's game has been established for 100 more years. So I think in terms of, you know, the development of our programs in our country, you know, we've got players now, young players playing overseas and playing abroad, and I think it's only going to help the development of our game. But I have the utmost faith in our new coach. I think has a really good sense of the American player and also the benefits of the players that are playing over in Europe. And I have no doubt, because what's common is the American spirit. And I think that's, whether it's male or female, I think they, both teams embody that.
The white shirt.
Simon Bank, Aftonbladet. Jill, I'm from Sweden, so apologies for a somewhat provincial question. For the first time ever, we had a Swedish world champion, so I just wonder if you could say a few words on the impact, the roles Tony's played, the success.
Gosh, Tony and I had a long embrace. I think my wife kind of looked at me kind of long with that one, but yeah, it was, he has been, Tony and I were assistants under Pia. That's where we first met. And this guy is, he's world class in what he does. His brain is world class. And I think, we talked a long time ago of how I wanted the attacking team to look, and he's shaped and crafted that. I spent most of the time on defending, him attacking. It was a perfect balance. He's tremendous. Tremendous person, and obviously a coach as well. And I've gotten to know his family. I think we've become, I have a brother, but I think Tony is as close to my other brother as anybody. And I do want to take this a moment to thank him, because it's been a hell of a ride, and he's been fantastic.
Jill, tactical question. You said the Dutch made it difficult for you. Did their coach surprise you by playing Miedema behind Berenstein, a deeper role, linking with the midfield? It seemed to actually unsettle your team for a little bit. Did that surprise you, and how good was that tactical? Yeah, I think it was good. They kind of went, they kind of shifted their back line and had some changes, in that. And, I think they're a tremendous staff. I think, initially we wanted to press high into their six, and then, recognizing that she was sitting underneath us, and that was, an issue. So I think JJ did a fantastic job. Julie Ertz did a fantastic job in making sure she was balanced, and, not getting too high too early, and being able to absorb her sitting in front of our back line. I think once we made that adjustment, I think it was good. But yeah, she's a tremendous player, world class. Her playmaking, her finishing, her touch around the box, her aerial presence. I don't think, many of the American press know how good that team was we played tonight, but they were very, very good.
The second draw.
Hi, Odd Inge, also from Aftenposten. On your road to this trophy, you have to beat 5 of the strongest teams in Europe. But are you a bit concerned about all the European teams now who have become so strong, and all the investments in European football? Do you think it will be more difficult for teams from other parts of the world in the future?
Yeah, cheekily I'll say at this particular moment right now, with the trophy going back to the States, no. but yeah, I think the investment that the rest of the world has made. I said this many times. I grew up in England, and there was never a chance for women to play. I didn't get that opportunity until I went to the States. So I think the club level, the investment that major clubs are making in the women's football. Credit that. I think all these major clubs, they can see how amazing this World Cup was, and how, rich in terms of fan support that it was, that I think, teams will continue to want to invest in the women's game. And what does that do? Yeah, it makes our job, hard. But I think also we've had a commitment from our federation to also grow a domestic league. And, because I think without leagues, you can't just exist as a national team. So I think the Europeans have done that, and I think we've done that. I think our league's in its 5th year. But yeah, I think that's a big key. In terms of, the South America or the Asian teams, I don't think they have the benefit of such a strong financial investment in terms of major clubs. But my hope is that everybody gets on board with this.
Now we change to the left side.
Hi, congratulations. I'm Netta from Haaretz. I'd like to ask, are you about to go to the White House? Rumors has it that
I don't know. I haven't been invited, so I can't really say. I haven't been invited.
I'm sure you're about to be invited.
Well, I wouldn't bet on that.
Right beside, yeah.
Ms. Ellis, congratulations for the title. As Megan Rapinoe is not here, perhaps you can talk about, did you ever feel that she cannot stand all this pressure she put on her? She did so many things on and off the pitch, but she was focused on the pitch. Can you explain how she could manage all this in this tournament and be perhaps the most dominant player in any tournament of women's soccer?
Yeah, I think it speaks volumes about her as a person. I think Megan was built for this, built for these moments, built to be a spokesperson for others. I've sat in a couple of presses with her, and she's just incredibly eloquent. I think speaks from her heart, and I think we need people like that in the game, to be honest, to call things for what they are. So in terms of her dealing with this, no, I never had any issue with that, because I've for the past 4.5, 5 years, I've seen what she's capable of, and I think the bigger the spotlight, the more she shines. Sometimes spotlights can burn people, but I think for Megan, it just highlights who she is.
The first row is the man of the classes.
Hey, Jill, congratulations on number 2. I know you took some criticism maybe on the fact that you used Crystal Dunn, an attacking player in the NWSL, as a left back. How did she grow during the tournament?
Dunny had, I think some of the best players in the world play up on that right side. With Diani, with France, Jakobsen. We just, there's always a lot. I think there's world-class players in the flanks these days, and so I think for her, she's done incredibly well. I think, she's still, as good as she is, I think she's still in a growth pattern in terms of becoming, I think she's world-class, but I think she has, I think she'd be the first to say that she wants to continue to evolve as a world-class left back. The defending, the attacking, and, we didn't get her high as much as we wanted to today, but, I think the 2 players that played on the right side, were good, and I think they didn't get a whole lot in terms of out of that right side. So I think in terms of neutralizing threats, I think she was fantastic. What I love about Dunny is she's ready to do anything for this team. Whether we stick her as a left winger, whether we stick her as a center mid, which we've done over the past 9 months, or a left back, I think she's embraced that, and just speaks a lot about who she is in terms of being able to deal with the pressure, and who she is in terms of as a soccer player.
Jill, congratulations. Hi. Your contract is expiring soon. I understand you have an option to come back if you want.
Dude, you know more than I do. I'm not going to lie.
I'm just curious what you think you might want to do.
Sorry. What I might want to do, I can't even think about that right now. I think right now it's about just enjoying this moment. I said to the players in the pregame that we have to take this game 1 minute, 1 moment, 1 decision at a time. And I kind of live by that. So I don't think about what's in front of me, anything else than what's in front of me. So I think for me right now, I'm just going to soak all this in and enjoy it and celebrate with my players. Oh, hey. Oh, hey. Yeah, well, it's about time. Did you pass?
I just killed doping, if anyone's concerned.
All right, I'm out of here. All right. Yeah. No, I'm serious. Can I go?
Yeah. Are you holding down the fort?
So, the final question for Jill, and then we go to Megan.
Okay, one question. Here we go.
One question to Jill.
Maybe.
Question, Jill. Looking back at the Olympics and coming into this tournament, what do you think players and your team as a whole developed the most?
Yeah, I think coming out of the Olympics, to me, it was a great lesson. It was a great lesson on what we needed to get better at and where we needed to grow. It's rare that quality teams sit low on you, and Sweden did that, and it was kind of a wake-up call for me in terms of where we were at. And so, I think the players, the level of players, the quality, the technical ability of these players, whether teams sit low on us or not now, I think we have the capacity, we have the players, we have the mindset to be able to deal with whether teams press us or teams sit low on us. And I think that's a tremendous credit to the players, taking on a lot of information. But I think the past 5 or 6 months, I think, and Pino can attest to this, I think we've prepared them, and I think that they were ready for every situation. And so I thought they handled it magnificently, this tournament. All right.
Thank you very much.
Have a good one, P.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Got a party to get to, y'all.
So,
yeah.
So congratulations again. The first question for Megan, please. So we take her.
Hi, Megan. Congratulations. Amanda from TV Global Brazil. I think you were able to listen in the crowd asking for equal pay after the game and also booing the FIFA president. What's your opinion about that? What do you think is the message of hearing this and watching this in a stage like the World Cup?
I mean, I think everyone is ready for this conversation to move to the next step. I think we're done with the, are we worth it? Should we have equal pay? Is it, is the markets the same? Yada, yada. Everyone's done with that. Fans are done with that. Players are done with that. In a lot of ways, I think sponsors and everyone's done with that. Let's get to the next point of what's next. How do we support, women's federations and women's programs around the world? What can FIFA do to do that? What can we do to support the leagues around the world? And I think it's no surprise. I mean, we put on, as all players, I'm saying, every player at this World Cup, put on the most incredible show that you could ever ask for. We can't do anything more to impress more, to be better ambassadors, to take on more, to play better, to do anything. It's time to move that conversation forward to the next step. And a little public shame never hurt anybody, right? So I'm down with the booze.
Next question here on the left side.
Megan, obviously there's been a lot of talk about celebrations, right? But you score that
Please,
penalty.
can you introduce yourself?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Meg Linehan, The Athletic.
We go way back.
In terms of when you're scoring that penalty kick, you go to the corner. This is now like the signature celebration, right? The pose. You had a different one against Thailand, but you're going to that corner. You know you're going to do it. What's going through your mind? What was the rationale behind making that sort of the signature look of the tournament? Like, it's on T-shirts now.
Yeah. Better be getting my cut of that. I don't know. It just feels right for the moment. I mean, I'm generally pretty off the cuff, so I change them up a lot. But this just felt right in this moment. I think to have me and the person that I am, the things that I stand for, with a big shit-eating grin on your face, just in all of our glory. I say that as my team, and of all the women's players that have played in this tournament and around the world. I feel like it's kind of iconic of everything that we have gone through and continue to go through, and yet we still put this beautiful product out on the pitch. So seemed to be working as well. It was maybe a little good luck, and I didn't think of anything else in the moment, so just struck that one.
Right side.
English, Jeff Kassouf, Equals Soccer. Megan, the mentality of the team, first-time finalists that you're playing, you've been here 3 straight times, too, with a lot of this group. Does that come into play, especially early for you all when, you're kind of withstanding some pressure from them early? I mean, is the mentality a separating factor?
Yeah, I think so. I think that we leaned on our experience this entire tournament. We had some incredibly tough games to play, games where didn't play that well, games where we were under the pump, points in different games where it was very difficult, a lot of media attention, a lot of pressure, extremely difficult teams that we had to play. Our run through the tournament was very difficult. So I think that for us older players especially, to be able to carry a lot of that load and just set the right example for the younger players is absolutely a huge reason why we've been so successful. And we learned that obviously from, the Abbies and the Christies and, the Mias and Lilies and all of those players of how to integrate, sort of the younger players and just let them kind of enjoy it and sort of carry them along through the process. But I think that there's no team that is more battle tested in knockout stages, in, pulling crazy shit out of wherever you need to pull it out of to move on to the next stage. And that's kind of what this team is all about.
So the last question on the right side.
Megan, Anna from CONCACAF. Coach Ellis is the first woman or man since the 1930s to win back-to-back World Cup championships. As a player, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, man, that's very impressive. She'll thank us later. I mean, obviously, I think the pedigree and the wins and the championships speak for themselves. We have a super talented group of players and a very talented staff. And I think just top to bottom, I feel like I'm biased, but I feel like top to bottom, especially with the support staff that we have, the technical staff, we're world class. So it's credit to her for sure.
So thank you very much for attending the press conference. Thank you very much, Megan Rapinoe. Good evening.